Welcome to the Penalty Kick Podcast. You know who it is. It is Mike Gio, and I am ready to get this episode started. This is probably one of my favorite episodes, or is going to be one of my favorite episodes, because this is one of the big reasons I really wanted to start this podcast. I really wanted to pump up the women's game, and it's specifically San Diego Wave FC, because they've been doing absolutely amazing things since they've been here. They brought soccer to San Diego. They really set the foundation, which San Diego FC is now taking the torch and running with it as well. So I love to see this, love to support women's sports, love to support women's soccer, because game, recognize, game, these ladies can ball out. And I've been a season ticket holder now, going on 2 seasons, and it's just a game I absolutely love watching. I love going to the games, seeing the festivities, and usually it's just a good time. It's just a good time to get out there and watch a great game of soccer. And I love how the women have been playing this sport, not only obviously in the NWSL, but with the U.S. women's national team back in the days of Brandi Chastain, Mia Hamm, some of the absolute goats of the game. So I love talking about the Wave. Again, they came here before San Diego FC. They're the OGs right now out of the two. And so I really want to get into the San Diego Wave. Kind of, let's review what happened, in the past. They became an expansion team in 2022. They used to play at USD, University of San Diego, the private school on the hill in Linda Vista. They were playing at that arena because they were building Snapdragon Stadium in Mission Valley. And the moment the Wave played their first game at Snapdragon, they actually broke the attendance record for an NWSL game. So big shout out San Diego to support your women's sports. That record was later broken by the Chicago Sky. So big shout out to the Chicago Sky. So we're just going to need to continue to support the Wave, support what we got going on in San Diego, especially with our professional soccer teams. But San Diego Wave, they hit the ground running. They were good from the get-go. They played just a great brand of soccer, had some great players, which we'll, talk about in a moment, and we need to say farewell to. So that's a little sad to see, but they just absolutely balled out for our team. We won the regular season trophy, the NWSL Shield, in 2023, in our second year of existence. And then in 2024, the early part of the year, we won the Champions Cup. So we have trophies. We got silverware. These women have brought us chips. And I love that. I love seeing the women hold it down, especially in this sport. They held it down for the U.S. women's national team. They really were putting soccer on the map before the men's game. Like, if you call a spade, women's U.S. national team soccer was putting soccer on the map in the United States. And I think that's why we have some of the best women's ballers in the world. But 2024, in review, really wasn't a good year. We did not look good on the field. There was a lot of things happening kind of off the field. Alex Morgan was retiring. It was kind of tough to watch, as a season ticket holder and as a person that just loves the game, and see how great we were kind of the past 2 years, going to the playoffs. And then this past year was the first year we're not going to the playoffs. So that was difficult, to watch. We also got rid of our Coach Stoney, last year, and that happened really early in the year. So that was not something that I think helped the squad. And Stoney just led you to 2 consecutive playoffs, and that's how you treat a coach. It was a little bit weird. And then we brought in Landon Donovan, which I love Landon Donovan as a soccer player, but don't love him as a coach. I do respect him for coming into a tough situation and holding it down while he was here, but just the way he coaches, his philosophy of soccer, I don't buy into too much. I think he was just an absolute great player, but sometimes great players don't mean you're going to be great coaches. Sometimes great coaches were not good players when they played in the game. So, that there's that dynamic. But big shout out to Landon for coming in, trying to, make things happen. And I have to give Landon a big shout out for playing Mel Barcenas more than she's been getting playing time under Stoney. I think different situation. And Mel Barcenas is really, really young, a teenage San Diego sensation. So she's still growing into the game, still growing with maturity on the pitch, and I'm sure off the pitch as well. So love to see her get her playing time and then grow. So that was a really good thing I think that happened last year, was Mel Barcenas really getting playing time and just trying to work in her own. But the real sad part came during the offseason. Two of my favorite players, they are no longer on this team. They were traded, and we lost Jaden Shaw. Jaden Shaw, I will miss you. You were one of my favorite forwards, not only on the Wave, but when you play for the U.S. women's national team, you ball out. Naomi Girma, hands down, our best player in terms of quality. I wouldn't maybe say name recognition for the past couple years, even though those past couple years have now gotten you recognized. And Naomi Girma just set a record for transfer fee. First ever women's soccer player sold or transferred for over $1 million. First ever. History. That is crazy, but she deserves all of that and more, because Naomi Girma, as Emma Hayes has mentioned, the U.S. women's national team coach, she's hands down the best defender in the world. She just left to Chelsea FC. One of my friends is probably happy he's a Chelsea FC fan, but I hate to see her go. I'm very happy for the next opportunity. I'm very happy that she's setting records and blazing the way for more women to get that money, to get those accolades, to get better contracts. So shout out Jaden Shaw, Naomi Girma. The San Diego Wave are going to miss you. San Diego as a city is going to miss you. And I'm for sure going to miss you, especially at the games. Again, y'all two were definitely my favorite players. And yeah, it's just sad. It's just sad to see him go. But that's the nature of the game. It is a business at the end of the day. And I do think the Wave FC needed a revamp because of all the bad things that kind of happened last year in 2024, losing Stoney, Landon Donovan coming in, not into a good situation. There were some allegations against Jill Ellis, which was the president of the San Diego Wave FC, that she did not create a great work environment and that it took a toll on staff members. Some U.S. women's national team players where Ellis used to work kind of, I don't want to say corroborated the story because I don't think they were there, but corroborated that Jill Ellis has been known to make sometimes the work environment a little rougher than it should be. Don't know if any of these allegations are true. Jill Ellis is suing for defamation, countering the lawsuit that the staff member from the San Diego Wave FC brought up. But you just don't like to see those things. That hangs over the team as a cloud. And recently, Jill Ellis just moved forward and went somewhere else with their career. So Jill Ellis is no longer on the Wave as the president of the Wave FC. So I think this is just a restart, a revamp. Sometimes you need to sell players to get money to get in new players. And I think the Wave have done that. They also brought in a new coach. So Landon Donovan is no longer the interim coach. They needed to try to find ways to change the culture, change the dynamic, change what was going on from whatever was happening last year. And sometimes ownership does not make strong moves when change is needed. And I think when change is needed, you need to be fast in the way you do it. You need to make smart, quick decisions because this change needs to happen fast. So think of it like pulling off a Band-Aid. If you do it really, really slowly, it hurts just for a much longer time. If you do it really quickly, boom, rip that Band-Aid off, hurts a little bit less. I think that's kind of the same way organizations need to think about these things. When you do change, usually you're going to need to strike when the opportunity is hot to change, and you need to make good, smart, quick decisions to see through that change as quickly as possible so it's not painful. Because when change comes, that's more work, that's more responsibilities, that's more things that need to get done and need to get done quickly. So ownership needs to act quickly. And I think the ownership has. And I was a little bit worried about the ownership because I didn't know they would do something along the lines of this. They also brought in a new coach, Jonas Eidval. I have an episode on Jonas. So if you need to know about Jonas, his style, where he from, what he done, this dude is a baller as a coach, coming in from Arsenal FC, won at Arsenal, beat Emma Hayes in an FA Cup, which Emma Hayes don't lose. Emma Hayes is arguably the GOAT of women's soccer coaching and coaching the U.S. women's national team. But Jonas Eidval and Emma Hayes went up against each other quite a bit because they were both in the Women's Super League in England. So this new era, I think, is going to be awesome. It's invigorating. It's exciting. We have a lot of really cool new signings. We have a lot of new young players, which I really, really appreciate because I think young athletes can really grow if they continue to see the professional game at an early age. So being around professional speed, being around professional physicality, you learn from that. Every time you're up against it, you learn from that. Iron sharpens iron. So I love seeing young players get opportunity early so they can grow into a prime that might exceed expectations. And so that's what I'm really looking forward to. How do they perform on the field? How do they reinvigorate this team? How do they mesh with the new coach? How do they mesh with the new president who is going to be taking Jill Ellis's spot, right? Like, how does this all come together to create a culture, and hopefully a culture of winning and of doing it the right way? But when a team doesn't do good and you know that they should be doing good, change needs to happen. And so I love seeing that they made the moves that they really needed to make to just really show up and be like, yeah, we're invested in this team. We're not just mailing it in and collecting everyone's money to, go watch a losing team, right? They are trying to win. At least you can see it in their actions. Does it translate on the field? That we don't know, but it's still going to be fun to watch. I cannot wait. And for those who do not know, the She Believes tournament is coming. So, San Diego women's soccer, it's happening. We've had tons of U.S. women's national team games here. So please go out, support these women athletes, support what they do on the pitch, because game, recognize game, and these ladies have all sorts of game. Far more game than I have on that pitch, undoubtedly. And I consider myself an athlete, but they are dominant at what they do. So this year is going to be an exciting one to watch. I hope to watch it with all of y'all. Hopefully y'all all going to the games. I'm going to be at almost all the games at San Diego Wave FC. Also, I'm going to be giving away free San Diego Wave FC tickets this season. So please stay tuned. If you haven't done so already, subscribe. Tell everyone about this podcast for San Diego Wave FC. The women need to get more shine. They need to get more love because, again, what they're doing on that pitch is just absolutely awesome. So let's make it happen. Let's give the props when props are due. This is Mike Gio with the Penalty Kick Podcast, and I'll see y'all next episode.